Okay, what is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of London Confidential Podcast. I'm Jason Crouch, and I'm joined here today with John T. Vitamin and Michael McCreese. Got a few less members this week, but we're still ready to put on a show for you guys. Obviously we had a few difficulties with our first attempt of this episode when we went live, so we're just gonna make this a recording and upload it to YouTube for you guys to have a watch. So thank you for having a watch if you're joining us today. Um, the PowerPoint is still done from when we last met, but what will you say about these first scores of the weekend, eh? John, see you on screen. Do you want to take us away first?
Yeah, I think it was exciting. Obviously, Premier League back in full flow. Lots of high scoring games. We had two 5-2s, we had a 4-3, we had a 4-2. Lots of high scoring games. So it looks like it's going to be an entertaining season.
Mm.
I think it's going to be exciting. Um, yeah, Mark.
Yeah, yeah. I think it was good to see football back, like all these entertaining games. I just think there were so many games to just like. Obviously, you always want to watch your team, but I think from what you've seen this season, you can literally watch any game and you're always going to be entertained and stuff. Um, Also with the red cards, we saw a couple of red cards this weekend. Second weekend, I think there were four red cards. So yeah, I guess the Prem's back, eh?
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I saw quite a few tweets coming from a whole different fan bases of different teams saying that at least if their team doesn't perform this weekend, at least they can go watch the Leeds game and get a nice game out of there. For
Yeah,
it's just so
I think
nice to
this.
see how everyone's also like backing Leeds. I feel like I haven't heard anyone say anything bad about Leeds, which is quite nice.
I think lots of people are excited to see them
Yeah,
back in the big time, and
yeah.
I think they're gonna be exciting to watch regardless of if they win or not. To be honest, I think they'll score goals against
Mm.
most teams. So I mean, they've had two 4-3s already. So
Yeah. Okay.
I
Well,
guess
on that note of Leeds, we can
safe
move on
bet
to
on
the
the Leeds
game.
game.
Mm.
Safe bet on the Leeds game. I think is like a 4.5 goals. Eh? What do you think?
yeah, for the betters, I
Uh,
think
for
it's
the
a good bet.
betters. Yeah, so it was a 4-3 result. I think we saw that Leeds Fulham game in the Division 2 before the build up to this Premier League season. Hey, they played in those playoffs before the end there, and I think
Yeah,
it was a similar result with Leeds taking the win, eh? Yeah.
yeah. No, Leeds promoted automatically.
Yeah.
But they did play last season, and it was always
Okay,
exciting.
cool.
Two good sides, two good sides. So yeah, both
Yeah.
played like watchable football. So it was good to watch. I think Fulham will be an interesting one to watch this season because I think they tipped to go back down straight away. But
Yeah.
they play good football and they have a decent squad. So it'll be interesting to see how they go against sides that like I mean they've had Arsenal. I mean they've had Arsenal and Leeds away. So it'll be interesting to see if they have a couple home games against sides like okay, I mean Brighton. I was going to say Brighton, but Brighton look good. Like yeah, like West Ham and like West Brom and stuff. It'll be interesting to see how they perform.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a good few interesting games coming up in the Prem. Okay, should we have a look at our next game then, which is the Everton West Brom game? 5-2 to Everton, hat trick from Calvert-Lewin. Mikey, what you got to say about this game? Very impressive game for me. I enjoyed watching this game.
Very impressive. I think it was a good game of football in general as well. I think Everton looked really good. I think Ancelotti's I don't know, he's built a much better squad. Like they always buy the players like you said, but I think with
yeah,
Ancelotti in charge, they've obviously their midfield was a problem for them. I think they identified that, and Ancelotti brought in the three midfielders he wanted, and I think that midfield is you can't really complain as an Everton fan with that midfield. I think it's one of the top midfielders. It's got such a good
Mm,
balance about it.
mm, mm.
Obviously with
yeah,
Gomez, who's very attack minded, Ducore, who's like up and down, and Allen, who sits well and obviously can distribute nicely. So I think
and
Yeah.
they've
Andre
got a very
Gomez
good
as well.
balance. Yeah, obviously Andre Gomez, who's a quality baller as well. So yeah, I think he's built a very good squad there. And obviously Calvert-Lewin, since Ancelotti's come in, has been like a completely different player. I think he's like
Mm,
almost the top scorer in the league since Ancelotti came in. So he's looked decent. He just looks like he's always going to score. Like he doesn't necessarily play the most attractive football or score bangers,
yeah,
but he's always in with the shout for a goal and
he's
stuff.
Mm,
just
So
there. Yeah,
mm.
yeah,
I think
Yeah,
it was probably my favorite game to watch.
Yeah, I just think if we look at the stats there, it says that Everton had a 72% possession and West Brom had a 28% possession. So I think the game was won all out on the field. I mean, it wasn't really one of those games where Everton was sneaking these goals out of nowhere. They were just dominating all over. I think the only glimpse of hope that I really saw from West Brom in that game was probably that free kick. I'm not sure who it was that took it.
Pereira.
Yes, Pereira took it.
Pereira.
That was quite optimistic to see if you're a West Brom fan. Maybe some more bangers off of set pieces loading. I don't know. We could see in the future.
Yeah, and that Laxi that they signed from West Ham, that young Ghana guy looked like he was a decent player.
Yeah,
Yeah, he looked quality.
yeah. So there's an optimistic future hopefully for West Brom. I think they just need to put in a
Yeah,
bit more work and get used to the Prem because it's obviously been a while since they've been in it.
yeah. It'll be interesting to see how they manage without their manager on that side of the pitch because he went in on Mike Dean. He was like,
Man, they'll still be able to hear him, bro. It's no fans. He'll just be
yeah, man,
in the
but
top
he'll be
in the top tier
shouting from the
screaming.
top tier. That's where he plays. If he's playing at bloody Old Trafford, no one's gonna be able to hear him.
Yeah, dude. Put him in a
So
soundproof box in the top stands.
yeah.
Okay, should we move on to this Man United game? I know we want to speak about
Oh yes,
this.
please,
Well,
please, please.
Johnsy, you sound
not
very
Arsenal
keen.
better start than them, eh?
What do you have to say?
Honestly, to be fair, I actually felt bad for good old Donny van de Beek. He shit. Even after the game, he was a bit shy to go in on his side. He was like beating around the bush. Now I think United looked poor. I actually watched with my United friend, and they just didn't look like Bruno was nowhere,
Mm,
Rashford was nowhere, Martial was nowhere,
mm,
Pogba was just there. There was no one. Their best player for me and for the guy that I watched with was um, Fosu Mensah for me. They're who played right back. So yeah, I didn't think. I mean,
It
apart
was
from a
just
couple of
yeah.
good saves from Dave, and then obviously the penalty, the VAR thing couldn't have gone any better. Like that was just perfect karma for me after what happened
mm,
last season. So
mm.
Yeah.
no, it was good to see.
Especially
I
against
loved and
Palace last season.
yeah,
It's
yeah. No,
heartbreaking, bro.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I
this
enjoyed
is
watching every
this
second of it.
as we're looking at the stats here, because I was mentioning in that Everton game how Everton were just dominating everywhere on the pitch. I was actually a bit surprised with this result, and I'm sure all the Man United fans are obviously disappointed with it because we can see Man United had a 76% possession in the whole game, 17 shots, only four on targets. I think with that sort of possession, you should be winning games. If you're only giving the other team 25% of the ball, there should be a bit more in it for you
Yeah,
than a
Also, just
two-goal loss.
they just didn't really look threatening like ever
Yeah.
mm,
when they got the ball. And last at the end of last season after lockdown, when they had
Mm,
um, Fernandez in good form, Martial was in good form, Grealish
exactly.
was like this youngster is unbelievable. Rashford was in decent form. Like they looked threatening every time they got the ball going forward.
Mm,
And
yeah,
they just, for me, like they are still obviously had those 17 shots, but only four on target. They never really looked like threatening
mm,
much. Like
not
it
at
was.
all. Yeah,
yeah.
even that Van de
I
Beek
think
goal was out of nowhere.
I think he's a very good bowler though, Van de Beek, and
I also think
I
so.
think it becomes a problem. I think it's going to become a problem when Pogba isn't performing and Pogba gets benched for Donny because
Yeah,
Pogba's a big name and he's a big influence and he's a big player in the dressing room.
I've
So
also
as soon
been
as Pogba,
I've,
because they can't play all three.
I know, and
So
I
if
completely
based on
agree with
form
you.
Pogba gets dropped,
Mm.
and then
And
he's the influence in the change room. He's this big player,
yeah, I'm just
and
not
no one's
enjoying what I'm
liking
seeing
him
from
anymore.
Pogba
And
recently. It's just not that Pogba hype. Like he's definitely a world class player. I'm not going to take that away from him. He's definitely up there with categorized as world class. But I just want to see that hunger back again. That we saw with that ruthless Pogba, that arrogant, cocky Pogba. I just feel like we haven't seen that in a while.
yeah,
And I
I
feel like
agree.
when we get that arrogant, cocky Pogba back, I think it could be a little bit late for the Premier League. I don't know. Man United could start doing things that we saw at the end of last season. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
We've been seeing Man United have kind of shaky starts over the past few Premier League starts, and it's becoming quite a common thing in their team. But at the end of the season, they seem to pull through. So maybe they can do the same this week. This season, I don't know. We have to wait and see.
yeah.
Only been one
Ibra,
game.
Ibra, Ibra,
oh, he hasn't
Ibra.
played.
Obviously, I don't know if you saw that whole thing that happened. First of all, did you see that thing that happened with Zaha? So he
That was so
he's on Sky Sports, Jason, and he says like he's like speaking about something, and then he's like, yeah, no, the reason why he didn't perform at United or something was because he was sleeping with David Moyes' daughter,
Oh my
and then
word.
then they made him apologize and all sorts
They
of
made him apologize for having a girlfriend with the manager's
yeah,
daughter.
no, they made Evra apologize for saying
Oh, oh,
Maybe with the step.
oh.
on his own Instagram he said something about how like I had like a 20-minute rant at like
Mm,
2:30 in the morning, and he was like, no, this like this club is like they don't let this happen to this club. It's got such a big history, and
mm.
everything that players and managers and stuff have worked for before is just going to be thrown out the window if
Yeah,
players don't step up and stuff. So there's clearly not um, a lot of love going. Yeah, there's something going on there, which is good to see. I love to
yeah,
see it.
yeah.
Honestly, I couldn't be happy. I seriously, I couldn't be happier.
Okay,
I
so
think
on that note,
I think it's a very interesting situation there. Like they obviously they obviously want players, and they just I
They
know
can't.
like Sancho doesn't want to go, but there's
yeah,
been
there's
multiple
just
players over the window they've tried to get, and they've all ended up at other clubs. So I don't know if it's the way Man United are doing business, if it's just Ole's pull, or what it is, but they clearly aren't getting
Yeah.
deals done that they
Bro,
need to get done.
he's not the most appealing manager. If I was a player and I had a choice between going to a Lampard who's looking to rejuvenate a
mm,
Chelsea side completely and Arteta who's looking to rejuvenate an Arsenal side, Pep Pep and Klopp who are both the two best managers. I mean, arguably two of the best managers in the world, and Mourinho who's just Mourinho, and even Ancelotti at Everton. If I had an
Yeah.
option between those six, and then you ask me Ole, who looks like I don't know some dyslexic frog or something, I don't
Oh
know. I
man,
would
the OT
honestly
teacher, bro.
yeah, come on. I mean, I think he'd be my
yeah.
seventh choice
I
manager.
just think maybe there's
Yeah,
something
I was just
under
saying
the
with Son,
covers that
like
we don't know about the greater public. There might be. I think there could be something that's the public might not be knowing about. I don't know. Something's happening in the with that club. We'll see. I don't know. I think that they'll do well. Man United, they always seem to pull it out of the bag at the end and end up, qualifying for Europe.
somehow, but
Somehow they do it.
I don't
They,
think Tottenham
I don't know. We'll have to have a.
That's the thing.
We'll have to wait and see. It's been
It's a
one
bit
game.
early to tell.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
exciting times ahead. Okay, Maki,
yeah.
you've obviously got a very big smile on your face. Do you want to take
yeah,
us away with your little 5-2 win, the Son and Kane show?
yeah, yeah. I think first half we weren't great at all. Like we didn't. Well, we started really well. We scored that first goal. Was still that sketchy offside. Of course, VAR plays has its role again. And then from there, I just we didn't look great. We like didn't create much. We had another created another chance. Scored. It was offside as well. So I think attempts wise, those were the only two attempts we had first half. I think they said we had zero attempts
Mm.
on paper because they're obviously both offsides. And then I think turning point was that that goal obviously at on half time. I think Ndombele
Yeah.
that goal was all him. I think
Yo,
fine we like in midfield we weren't like winning those balls, and then I think he won that ball in midfield, the loose ball, played out Kane, he played Son in, and then I think second half we were just ruthless. I think Kane and Son just gave Kane the ball.
Yeah.
Son was just Son was just in a mood to score. Like on another day, he only scores like two of those kind of thing. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I
No,
think it was just
Kane was quality, man. He was
yeah,
every
yeah,
single one of them. It's if you watch them, he doesn't even
he
look half
doesn't
the
look
time,
up.
but he
Yeah,
knows exactly where Son is. Like, and
yeah,
that was yeah. No, it was good to watch. I mean, I was speaking to Michael last night, and I think they still need to Spurs. I mean, we saw a glimpse of it in the second half there where they clicked, but I still think that they need to. The whole squad needs to fully click and need to find their feet, kind of thing. I think they did look a bit shaky
yeah,
first half for me.
yeah.
They looked shaky, and it could have been different if you were going down into half time. So I think that definitely hit that on the head
Yeah,
yeah,
with Son the goal at half time. But then apart
and
from
that
that, you guys obviously showed your quality,
that
and
that Ings
I was
goal was a quality move.
yeah
That was a
yeah
very
yeah
good quality.
yeah
That
the
touch,
good
that
finish
first touch,
yeah
it was very good. I think that
yeah,
guy's
and I think it's I mean it's quite frightening, Jason. I don't know about you, but with 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 if Son and Kane do that, like I mean they're not going to do it week in week out. I don't think it's natural, but I mean but if they perform like that week on a weekly basis kind of thing, and they've got Bale somewhat back to Bale form, then that front three is
That's what I'm also
damn,
thinking,
bro.
dude. As soon as I saw that Bale was confirmed for Tottenham, I was on my phone and I sent Mark a message and I was like, "You guys can't bring Bale back to the Prem. It's unfair." I think, to be honest, I just think Bale, world class player. I think he's gonna slip into the squad fine. I think he's gonna feel at home. The players, I can almost confidently say that 100% of the players in the squad are happy to have him in the squad and are ready to play with him and want to see him thrive. I don't know, Mark. Maybe you could know more about it than me. I don't know. Have you seen any news on that? But I have a feeling that 100% of your squad will be happy to have Bale in it and
Yeah,
moving forward. Yeah.
yeah, no, all like from what I've seen,
Apart from
reports are like
Mora
he's happy. Yeah, but Mora, yeah, he's
and
like
Lamella.
Lamella. The thing with Lamella, Mourinho loves him, so he's always gonna give him
Yeah.
20 minutes.
Yeah.
At the end
Yeah.
there with his flippin', with his white hair to run around like a flippin' headless chick that makes him. But no, I just think yeah, the squad like it's just been positive vibes since he's come, and I think he's happy to be home. Like if you read like what he said and what his agents has said and stuff.
Mm.
So I think we could see him sooner than expected because obviously at Madrid, if he has an injury, like he's
Mm.
gonna milk the injury as long as he can. Like he was over it. Like there was just such a bad vibe around him in that club, and
Yeah.
I think now he's like, obviously the happier you are, the more you want to play and stuff. So I think we could see him
Mm.
sooner than what we expect.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I just think for us it couldn't have been a better time to bring him back
Yeah.
as well. Like
Yeah.
I know there's been talk of him coming back like since he left basically, and talks of him going to United and wherever else to flip in China. He tried to go to China, and I think just for him and for us, I don't think the move could have come at
Yeah.
like a better time. So yeah, I think it does boost the mood, and obviously Regulon as well. I know there hasn't been a lot of talk about him because obviously he came at the same time as but I think he's a quality left back and
Yeah.
definitely something we needed. Like obviously Davies is solid,
Yeah.
but he's just
Yeah.
yeah, you can't compare the two because
He doesn't
Relon
have he
offers like
doesn't have
such
flair. Yeah.
yeah, so it offers like a well-rounded left back, which is what we so good and
Like, whoa.
Okay. Well, on that note, we do have a section planned up ahead that we're going to speak on about Bale. So we'll get into that. We're going to cut to the Chelsea game. Mark, John's here. You guys still with me?
Yeah, I'm here, but
Okay, just a bit of technical difficulties again, but we're back. We joined here, and on screen at the moment we have the Chelsea Liverpool game. Yo, I think I should take
congratulations,
us away
Chelsea,
here.
brother. Yeah, take us away back.
So 2-0 to Liverpool. If we're looking at it as a goal result, to be honest, it wasn't bad considering it was Liverpool. I mean, a 2-0 against Chelsea, it could be expected on the weekend. Obviously, I was hoping for the result going into the game. I was highly, I was actually going in quite confident. I was expecting a win. Even made a bet with a friend that to post on Instagram stories as if we as we saw that
Whoa.
didn't go too well. But yeah, I definitely do think that there is a lot to prove on, but there were some positives. I don't like I just feel like because of our defense at the moment and the stigma around Chelsea, I just feel like everyone was looking at the negatives in that game. I do feel like there were a lot of positives. We're seeing those positives
Your
run.
face. Your
Yeah,
face.
we're seeing those positive runs from Werner. Like people must get excited by that, and I understand Jorginho missed a penalty, and there's no excuses for that. You need to be netting those, but I was seeing some promising things from him, and especially where he isn't getting game time in our squad as of recent. Well, more recently now he has been playing, and it's exciting to see things like that. I definitely do think that we need those new transfers to come in, and they need to come in quick because Havertz is being played out of position, and I really hope Lampard can put him at centre attacking mid because it's honestly, I honestly don't know how to back myself every weekend when I get told that Havertz isn't playing up to his price tag and stuff like that. It's because he's playing out of his position, and I want to see
Yeah,
him in his
but that is
position.
so quality.
He's had two games in the Prem. I mean, like, let's give the guy some time to settle, put him in his position, and sure, let's have this conversation in 10 games' time. If he's still not performing, we can have it again and we can critically unpack where he needs to improve.
That is too quality for a 21-year-old to be shamed after two
That's
games,
what I'm
man.
saying.
You just
Two games out of
give him a
position, new
season.
league, new
Give
team.
him a season, Jason. Chelsea fans need to be patient
That's what I'm saying. Chelsea fans are very harsh.
They signed so impatient, and you guys have a nasty fan base. Like this
Mm.
Ozo ripping into Havertz already. It takes like sometimes it takes players a season to settle into the Premier League.
Yeah, but
But that's why you sign players like Havertz because he's 21 years old and next season
exactly,
he's 22. He's still got
exactly.
8 years where he could, you know what I mean? It takes a lot, bro. He's coming
Yeah,
21, bro. A year older than us. He's moved countries completely, speaking a different language. Um, it's a
Brand.
big thing. Yeah,
mm,
and he's playing out of position as well.
yeah,
Everyone around him
Yeah, I think
different. Needs to
that's
settle. It's not gonna happen quickly. Like that's what
yeah.
Arsenal had the same thing last year when people started ripping into Pepe. People must just like take a breather. Like
Yes,
sometimes this
and
happens.
we're seeing optimistic
It
things from
happened.
Pepe now. He's getting
Yeah,
into the spaces, he's having those chances, and it's loading. He's going to be scoring those
exactly.
goals very quickly, and
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I completely. Mm,
That's the only thing, bro.
mm,
It's
yeah,
people need to understand that stuff doesn't just happen
I
overnight. It's
do.
not often that a player comes into the Premier
I
League
think
and just
I think
tears
we're
it up.
saying the same thing obviously now with Ndombele. Like
Mm,
first season he had
Mm.
glimpses, but he was never the player we know he can be. Obviously it's been 2 games, so I'm not getting like hyped or anything. He played 45 minutes as well, so it wasn't like a full game because I think his fitness is still not there.
mm,
But I think we are starting to see like a better, like a more all-round performance. Like I think he was actually really good. He worked hard, which is good to see because obviously he has been labeled as like lazy and stuff by Jose and not
Yeah.
mm,
hardworking and stuff. So I think for us that's also positive to see like him coming. But I think
mm.
that's it. Like coming from a league, you can't expect O's to just slot in quickly,
Yeah,
which
Yeah,
I think is
especially young
tough
players, especially young players.
tough to take for fans the amount of players Chelsea have brought in. Like
Yeah,
I think it is going to be tough, especially
yeah,
if one of them adapts. Like Werner's looked like he's adapted pretty quickly. Like he
yeah,
hasn't gone the
yeah.
score sheet, but his game has looked fine.
yeah.
Whereas Havertz playing out of position and hasn't looked like the player we know he is. So everyone's like then being critical on him. So I think you literally just have to be patient as fans.
I've
Like the only
I've
time
been
you can
very
go wrong.
impressed with Werner's runs. I'm very impressed. I'm satisfied with the runs that he is giving. I just think he needs someone to build onto that. Well, he needs someone to build onto him rather. He needs Ziyech in the midfield. Once Ziyech is settled in, I think he will be able to give those
And
quality
Havertz as
balls.
well, mate.
Havertz,
When Havertz
yeah.
is firing, him and Werner are gonna be
Werner's shot,
beast.
his shot has been a bit shaky. We've noticed that, and I'm sure that's just part of. It's just I feel like he needs to get on one of those penalties. Werner needs to have that breakthrough. He needs to score his first Premier League
Yeah, I
goal,
agree.
even if it's a penalty, just to gain that confidence. I mean, he's won 2 penalties now. If he takes those 2 penalties, he's 2 goals up in the Prem, and there's no pressure for him to score his first goal. He's sitting comfortably on 2 goals, and he can ball. I mean, I just think that
Yeah,
the,
I think. Yeah, I
it's
also
just
think
it's
that he
just
should have.
breaking in. We just need a break in. That's what we're waiting for, and yo, I hope
Now
it comes.
that Jorginho's missing, maybe he'll get the next one.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
hadn't missed a penalty in like his whole life.
yeah,
That's stupid.
It's like a rope.
Stupidly of him. So I
yeah.
think now that he's missed one, I think that Werner might
Yeah.
get the next one.
I
I
just
still honestly I still think that apart from apart from I mean maybe this is just me. I'm still gonna back myself with my prediction for the league,
mm,
but this I can what I can say is that this Liverpool side isn't as strong as they were last season. From what I've seen at the so far this season, I don't think. I mean, they could change my mind very quickly. I
mm.
thought they looked good. They did look decent. That first goal was quality. No, yeah, the
Yeah,
first one.
yeah,
The second one was
yeah.
yeah,
Second one was
yeah. The first one, yeah. You got Kepa. You've been Kepa.
I was about to say, yo.
Yeah, the first goal was good, but it's just yeah. I mean, Liverpool side for me last season, playing against the Chelsea side at or it was yeah it was at the bridge,
Yeah, it was at the bridge
but
that we won.
yeah
Mm.
for me a Liverpool side last year playing against 10 men um would have just
Well, that's
gone
exactly what I'm
gone
saying.
crazy.
As a Chelsea fan base, we need to look at the score and say, listen here, the first half was actually very close, and yeah, sure, there was a few chances on both sides. I thought the first half was very decent. It was a very even game, and it was when we got that red card. I don't know what Christensen was thinking, how he thought he was going to get away from that. Um, but yeah, that red card just changed the whole dynamic. A man down 2-0 against Liverpool with 10 men. I mean, is that really the baddest result considering how we played?
Nah,
Yeah, I just
And
think there's
most
some
penalty as well.
exactly.
So
I just think
2-1.
I just think we played terribly, but there are definitely some positives, and I think we need to start building on those positives. I just think the one thing that we won't be able to build on that definitely does need change is our keeper. I don't know how Frank has signed so many new transfers, and a keeper wasn't the first one on the list. We saw shaky
Yeah, but we've
tendencies
got
from
one now.
Kepa. Yeah, Mendy. Hashtag Mendy for the mend. I'm going to be repping this hashtag until he arrives. Mendy for the mend. We need a keeper. That should have been on top of Frank's transfer lists, in my opinion, because we've seen shaky tendencies from Kepa for a while now. And I mean, Willie isn't the youngest keeper to have on the bench, so Mendy will definitely be a good addition to our squad, I think.
Yeah.
I think also for Liverpool, this that game being 10 men was the perfect introduction for Thiago. It really is.
Yes,
Like they
that's a
couldn't have asked better because he's so used to being in a league where he doesn't get pressed. I know I saw some other like pundits saying that like when he doesn't know how to be like he has never played against being like pressed and stuff. And I think like his first game in the Premier League, you couldn't have asked for a better like introduction, like playing against 10 men. Obviously, it's against Chelsea, so it's like a bigger side
mm,
as well. 10 men, like he's gonna have so much time on the ball, and you saw his quality. Like there's no denying that he is a
yeah,
quality footballer.
Yeah.
yeah,
It'll be interesting to see because obviously people are saying, oh, he's never been pressed and stuff. I
mm.
don't think it'll be too much of an issue for him, but for Liverpool, if they ever had that worry, it was the perfect time. I
I
think
Would
Klopp
have
completely
been
saw
agree
saw
with
the
you.
interesting.
goals.
I completely agree.
Would have been interesting. Would have been interesting if Kepa hadn't kept and um and and he gave away that penalty and Jorginho scored to see how what would have
That's
happened.
what I'm saying. It's
Yeah,
it's a 1-1 game. If we don't give away that penalty and Jorginho scores, it's a 1-1 game with 10 men
so it's
down. Like, yo,
because yeah, Thiago gave away the penalty. So it's obviously, and we also saw with Rodrigo coming in the Leeds game
mm,
against Liverpool, he gave away the penalty as well.
mm,
So it's
Yeah.
obviously there's something I don't know what it is about in the box and like getting their second
mm.
or what it is. I don't know, but
Yeah.
they seem to be a bit slow on their gauges. I don't know
Yeah.
for sure.
I think it's gonna be a good test. It'll be a good test on Monday for us. I think it'll give us as an Arsenal fan base.
Yeah.
I'm not yeah I'm not going into it thinking we favourite or anything.
No, I was
But
just about to
yeah,
say, John T. If Liverpool goes into the game and plays how they played against us, I honestly do think that you guys have the odds in your favor.
yeah, we need to play well as well.
Yeah,
We need to play
yeah,
well as well.
yeah,
If
yeah.
they're
If
lucky,
we
they
played like
get
we played
West
against
Ham.
West Ham, we will.
But we've been seeing you guys on form. Yeah, sure, it's hard. It's a hard pill to swallow coming from a Chelsea fan to say this, but Arsenal's looking on form. They've got exciting times ahead of them, and I definitely do think they're gonna give Liverpool a good run for their
But you
points.
know what I think it is,
Yeah.
honestly. I think. I mean, we've seen since Arteta's come in, we actually played better against big sides
Mm.
or sides that come at us a bit more compared to sides like West Ham who sit that low block and they just sit back and then try and catch us on the counter and then we have a lot of ball. So that's why we need. I mean, I think we need to make a signing or two in midfield to shore up that little bit of when teams do
Definitely.
sit back against us, we need to be able to have that extra little bit to be able to beat that block. But when we sit back and teams get a lot of the ball against us, like Liverpool and City, and even when we played Chelsea in the FA Cup, um, we look so much better on the counter. Like we look comfortable against big sides,
Mm.
which is something I haven't been able to say for
Mm.
years. So it'll be interesting to see how we play against Liverpool. I think it'll be a big sign for us. It's at Anfield, um,
Yeah, it'll be exciting.
but
That's a good
we'll
one,
see
eh?
how it opens.
Yo, you need to break the streak, John T. I want that Chelsea, that win streak to be intact, man. And I won't lie, it's getting a bit close here. We need to, we need to do something about it. Someone has to beat them at Anfield, guys.
Yeah,
Please.
yeah, no, I think it's going to be a good test for us,
Mm,
and I think it'll be a good test for them as well. I don't think they've looked spectacular so far. Um, they haven't looked bad, but they haven't looked like did at
Yeah,
stages in last
I
season.
think
So
against 11 men against Chelsea, it would have been a completely different game as
yeah,
well.
I agree.
Like they didn't look comfortable when it was 11v11.
mm,
I think as soon as they got the red, like they knew like that's just like the Liverpool mentality. They're
yeah,
always gonna have that killer mentality.
yeah.
So I think down to 10 men they always knew, but I think they were a bit nervous when it was still 0-0, 11-11, yeah,
But
11-11.
then
Because
again,
like
when they got the red, I was turning off my phone, ready to not go on social media for 24 hours to see 5-0 to Liverpool, sort of thing. I mean, 2-0,
yeah, no, for
like,
sure.
yeah, yeah.
But I'm
Still,
saying they didn't look comfortable when it was 11v11.
mm,
So I think if it was 11v11 the whole game, it would have been. They might have still won, but it still could have gone either way for
Yeah,
me. Like no
yeah.
team really looked like comfortable to win that
Yeah,
game. Really.
I agree with you. There's definitely some building points there for both Chelsea and Liverpool. Okay, so I know this has been a very big debate on our WhatsApp group. But we have this slide here, and it's got a few pictures of Gareth Bale, and we've just come up with the question that we want to ask: is Gareth Bale the most disrespected footballer in history? I don't know. Could we say that in history? We just saw such a wonderful Spurs career go off to Madrid and kind of just sunk onto the bench there. And I'd say it's such a waste of talent. I mean, he's carried them to that Champions League with that bicycle. I mean, yo, it just makes me so mad speaking about it. Like, how has this guy like not
Yeah,
been playing footy? I don't know.
yeah.
But he was so disrespected there. Like it's crazy the goals he scored for them and the important goals he scored for them. Like it's I don't know where it went wrong. Obviously, it was a fallout with Zidane, but I don't
Mm,
know where it went so wrong with the fans as well. Like I think that voted off the managers like I don't know disrespect or hate for him. I don't know what it was, but yeah, it was crazy. It was just like he was so disrespected there. I don't know what it was.
I think, bro, he when he left the Premier League in 2013, Michael, was it 2013?
2013, yeah.
That 2012-2013 season that he had, and the season he had before that, he was arguably top three players in the league without
When he
any
left,
doubt.
when he went to Madrid, he was top. He was the third best player in the world behind Messi.
Yeah,
yeah,
but yeah, and as an Arsenal fan,
I
I
can
won't
I can also
fight
confidently
that.
agree with that. Yo, the man was a baller,
I
dude.
won't fight that. But it's just like he that whole Zidane thing was just an honest mess. It was like
Mm,
like it was, and the thing is, he didn't even like he wasn't like a Hazard where he went there and he scored two goals in a goal in his first season or whatever he was. I mean, I think he was scoring. I mean, I've got his stats here.
I mean, last season he was poor as last season, but that's
Yeah,
because he flipping
but
every game he
but
yeah,
played, he
but
was off the
that's
bench.
yeah.
but 20,
Last
20,
season.
2014, 15, he scored. Okay, he scored 15 goals, which I mean that's his first season, not too bad. Then he scored 20 the next season, then 10, then
Then
19.
he had an injury in
Yeah.
that third season.
So he's not. I mean, he's not playing an out-and-out striker. So you must remember these numbers aren't like like they shouldn't be in the mid 20s. Like he had a decent start at Madrid. So people are saying like he went to Madrid and he just slumped completely. He didn't. His first three seasons were not bad
Mm,
at all. Like
no,
he still played
exactly.
very good football. But then something went wrong, and then even the way he reacted to it was just like, oh, you know what? He just had like this. Oh God, let me just, you know what?
Well, that's what I was
Whatever.
about to say. Like, if I had to put one bad thing to Bale's name in this whole situation, I would say like, yeah, sure, it's funny to see him doing all these memes and stuff on the bench, but I just feel like as a professional footballer, that's not a very good image to put out, especially
But
when
I think
something
for
like
him
that's
it got to
happening.
a point.
It
I
got
think for
past
him
the
it got to
point
a point
when
where he was like,
where he
you know what?
cared.
Stuff it. Yeah.
I know, but I just feel like
Like
as a
he,
as a professional footballer, you can't really be showing that. I mean, there's so many young kids that look up to these professional footballers, and setting an example like that, where getting chosen for the bench, despite being good,
no,
because
exactly.
yeah, I just think that he could have handled it a bit better on his side in that term,
Yeah.
in those terms.
To be fair, I
Um,
probably would have done the same thing.
no, yeah,
Yeah,
he's definitely being disrespected. Yeah, he's definitely
in the spotlight,
yeah.
he was in, like you can't like really do that. Like it is,
Mm,
it's so like bad for on his behalf. But I think for the last like 3 seasons, he got the same disrespect, and he tried to leave.
mm,
He tried to leave Madrid, and they blocked so many of his transfers. And I think for him, he wanted to go to play football, and they were
mm.
blocking him to leave, but then still putting him on the bench, and everyone was just disrespecting him. Like it was just such a bad
It's highly,
situation
highly
for
understandable why it's
for
happening. I
him.
just don't think it should be.
Yeah,
Is basically what
yeah,
I'm trying to say. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
yeah.
I think
Yeah.
if you look at the stats on him, like I think he has more goals than like R9 Ronaldo. He has more assists than Beckham. He won
Mm,
more trophies than Zidane did there. Like his stats as a Madrid player, he arguably could go down in their history as like one of their best and like most decorated players ever.
yeah,
But it just ended sour. And
yeah.
I read this one stat before Bale arrived at Madrid, they hadn't won the UCL in 12 years. I think it was 2001 or 2002 the last time they won it. Bearing in mind they bought Ronaldo in 2009, so Ronaldo had been there for 4 years before they won the Champions League. They signed Bale, and he won it the first year he got there. Then won it 4 out of his first 5 years, and the last 2 years he was just that's when he wasn't playing football and enjoying it, and he was
Yeah,
disrespected.
yeah,
So if you look at it that way, like obviously they had a world class team, so you can't put it all on him. But the
Yeah.
fact that they had won it and Ronaldo had been there for 4 years before they won it, and he wins it his first
mm.
season and then wins it 4 out of 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
So
That's what
that
you
that
could
that
ask the other
that
question. Would Real have won it those 4 years if Bale wasn't there? You can ask the question the other way. Like did he make
they
that
wouldn't
much
have
of
they
it?
wouldn't have they wouldn't
Exactly.
have won against Liverpool.
Yeah. Yeah. No. 100%.
He
Yeah.
single-handedly came on and changed that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember that it wasn't just the goal. It was he came on and was like he was yeah.
So yeah,
I think as an Arsenal fan, it is rather frightening. I'm not gonna lie to you, and I'll sit here and I'll put my hands up and say that it is rather frightening. But my football brain is trying to I'm trying to like come up with excuses as to why he can't be good. So like I personally genuinely speaking now, I don't think he'll get back to what he was before he left. Personally, just because of what's
yeah,
happened.
Mm.
But
7 years later.
he could prove me very wrong and be but even a Bale that gets back to 60 or 70% of what he was
It's still scary,
before he got
Bale.
suspended is still a very 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 scary
Mm.
Bale, especially if he's playing next to a Son or a Kane and in front of you know what I mean in front of I mean if they're at least you know if you know if they sort that out but that's a chat for another day but if he yeah, I know. If he gets back to somewhat what he could be, it'll be very, very, very interesting. But it could also go the other way, and
Yeah, for sure it could.
he could get there, and he could take a while to get into the squad, obviously, and adapt, and then it could just like the time could just fizzle out a little bit, and then the year loan's done, kind of thing. So it
But it's option for a second as well. So
yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
For
So
Bale's
that makes
sake,
sense.
I hope it doesn't go that way. I hope he lands in Spurs, like running at a million k's an hour, dude. This guy,
Yeah,
he deserves to have a career,
for
dude. I
Bale's sake,
want
I
him to
deserve it.
ball.
For Spurs' sake, I don't.
Yeah, exactly. We
I
are
think
going for Bale here.
I think when you're happy, your footballing ability does like
Yeah.
increase a hell of a lot. So I
Mm.
think for as a Spurs fan, it obviously it's going to be exciting. Like no matter what, he's
Yeah,
come home.
definitely, bro.
They
Definitely.
remember him how he was and stuff. So I think there obviously is the chance that it could be like he could just dwindle and not do anything and just be there kind of thing.
Mm.
But I think yeah, obviously being hopeful, I hope that
You
that
see,
it goes like
It could, and that's why
could
it's
be
exciting. It could go either way.
crazy.
So
Yeah.
also there's also that. I just want to speak about Hazard in a sense with Bale because I have a feeling that Hazard is slowly slipping into where Bale is at the moment at Real Madrid, and it's just very sad to see as a Chelsea supporter. Because I mean, all over Twitter, I mean, we follow all the Chelsea account. Well, I follow all the Chelsea accounts and stuff, and I mean, they still make montages on Hazard and his how happy he was and how he was thriving at Chelsea. And I don't know, I'm seeing him
made better at Chelsea.
sliding into something where Bale is at the moment with Real Madrid. I would hate to see Hazard on the bench. Such a wasted potential as well. I don't know. Have you
Yeah,
guys seen a similar occurrence with Hazard and Real Madrid?
yeah, and it's exactly the same, mate. Because if he the way he was performing at Chelsea before he left,
That's what I'm
the
saying.
couple of seasons before he left, he was like, yeah, no,
Yeah.
and because Kif, who's obviously not on today,
Mm.
thank goodness. Um, we were speaking about Hazard, but if I promise you, if when Kif and I used to have arguments, and Michael will know as well, every time Hazard was brought up, I would just tickle Kif's buttons because, bro, that's let me tell you, that O was frightening,
It's
bro.
just so
He was
sad
every time he got the ball,
He was
Marx
a very
is
creative
yeah. Because
very
Marx
by
creative
is
far,
player to
by
come on and
far,
change
mate,
the game. He could change the game.
by
Like
far.
no matter what, if he was having a bad game, you could never be like, okay, Hazard's having a bad game, take him
yeah.
out of the
You
equation.
could never write
Because
Hazard off ever.
in 1 second he could switch. And
Yeah,
remember John C that's when we were in England we watched the game against Bournemouth, the Carabao Cup game.
yeah,
That way
yeah.
he was on the bench, Chelsea looked poor.
Mm.
Didn't start, comes
Came
on
on,
like the
bada bing,
70th
bada
minute I
boom.
think. And
Yeah,
he scores within like 5 minutes of being
No,
on. It was just
he's
like,
a
okay,
difference
this
maker.
guy is seriously crazy.
no.
Yeah,
Mate, if that happens to Hazard, it'll be super duper
you
sad
see,
because
because
he,
it's similar to Bale in the sense that I wouldn't say that Hazard was one behind Messi and Ronaldo, but I would definitely say that he was a top five baller at Chelsea. I definitely think top five in the world, and it's just so sad, like how Real Madrid is destroying, well, not destroying these players. they're just taking their career away from them. Potentially Ballon d'Or winning career. I don't know. Question mark at the end of that. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I agree with you, man.
I think also with Madrid fans are also really like
Hostile.
hateful almost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mm.
hostile. Yeah.
Hostile, that's the word. They just like
High
they
standards,
just
I
as soon
think.
as a player, yeah, they have very high standards. And if a player comes in and he's not performing to the his absolute best week in and
Mm.
week out, I don't know if you've heard Bale speaking about he heard like whistles like around the stadium, but you know how those Spanish always whistle like you like a bad
Yeah.
whistle, like
Yeah, yeah.
he
Yeah.
said like that. He said that is one of the most intimidating and scary things in the world. And like you're not even having like a bad time, having one bad section in the game, and then all of
Mm.
a sudden they're whistling at you. And he said it's like he said it's one of the most intimidating things to grasp with. And I think that's where I think with Hazard as well, like he's come in, he hasn't been like the Hazard everyone was expecting from him, and they just and I think also with Madrid, they weren't playing great at the start of the season. Like obviously they end up winning La Liga, but they didn't start the season very well. And then obviously Hazard picked up that injury, so I think it's just a lot of compounding things that have just turned his first season out the way it is. And now I see he comes back, and then Zidane complained about him being overweight or something again. So I just think I don't know if Zidane's player management, if they're not like Spanish lights,
Yeah, I feel
it
like it's
doesn't
a
seem
very
very good.
hostile club, mate. I feel like it's such a
Mm.
hostile, like a they're a very extreme fan base.
It's a very hard
Like
click to break into.
the ultras, yeah,
Yeah.
like if you're a hero there, you're like a hero, like
Yeah.
like the likes of I mean Ramos now,
Ramos,
but I mean Ronaldo, Marcelo, all those guys are like they were like literally kings, like they're heroes. You know what I mean? Even at the moment, like Benzema, Casemiro kind of vibe, like those
Modric.
guys that have been there for a while, Modric, Kroos, all those guys that have been there for a while and have like, if you don't if you don't impress them from the outset, you like shift it to the side and then you hate it. There's no like in between. You know what I mean? You're either a hero or you like hate it. So
Mm, that makes a lot of
yeah,
sense. Yeah, and thinking about it, now that you've said that, that is, it's actually so true. Thinking about it, in the terms of Real Madrid, how I think maybe their Champions League success could be a factor in how they have such high standards. I'm not
yeah,
sure if that's a valid statement. Just because they're so successful on arguably the biggest competition on earth, that their fans have had these high standards now set to them. So yeah, it will be
yeah.
interesting for
And
Real Madrid this
I think it's
season.
interesting with the way La Liga's going. Like I think for now, like we saw how Serie A died, and I
Mm.
know we spoke about this before, Johns. Like for me, that's the way La Liga's going. Like Barcelona look in such a bad place at the moment.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I think Madrid with their success in the Champions League or the European Cup, whatever, I think they'll always have a bigger pull than Barcelona will. Like it's
Mm.
like Real Madrid, the Galacticos, and all that stuff. But for me, also that team, it's a lot of bullies now, dude. Like
It's
obviously
so
they're still
old,
very
mate.
good,
It is so
but
old. It is
that
so
team is
old.
so old,
Yeah.
and they haven't integrated like the lights. And obviously they've tried to buy like Hazard and Jovic and stuff, and it hasn't worked out. And I think by the Madrid fans shutting them out, it's just going to be like another Bale where they
Yeah.
have this world class player, they have the Hazard, but he doesn't
Mm.
get used. And I think with the rest of the players around them getting older and they don't seem to be like changing anything,
Yeah.
I think for me La Liga is dying, and I just don't
I
see
also think so,
I don't
mate.
see
And
how
it's
it
sad.
comes
And
back soon.
I also don't. I think the best way to put it to guys who are like trying to like understand what you're trying to say is like if you look at the Champions League um, nowadays, this season for instance, if you took it 5 to 7 years ago when it was Iniesta, Xavi, Messi, all those guys in the same side, um, if you drew them in the Champions League, it was pretty set. Like
Mm.
you were done.
You're
Yeah, it
Like
just chips you
you
out.
it was it was
Given.
it was it was you
Mm.
pack your bags and you go home to your league and you know what I mean. Whereas now drawing up Barcelona is not like
As
anything.
scary.
you
You know what I
have
mean?
Yeah.
hopes like
It's even
because also I
even
remember when
even
we
Madrid as well. Like it's not. I mean,
yeah
and
like
theirs was Barcelona's was slightly before Madrid. They're like
yeah
hero time. Madrid was the last like since what 2013,
Mm.
2014 kind of vibe.
yeah
They if you drew them in the Champions League 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, it was like also chips. You pack your bags and you go home kind of thing.
yeah
And now it's not even it's not
not even
yeah
scary. Like it's a
yeah
game you know you can go into winning.
yeah.
I
And
think
Atletico have just
Mm.
been Atletico for the last however many years. They just
they just
do Atletico things.
Yeah.
and I
Yeah,
think
no, I
those are
agree with
only
you, man.
like obviously Sevilla won the Europa League and stuff, but
Yeah,
I just in La Liga there's only ever like two teams. Like obviously Atletico are there, but it's always just between Barcelona and Real Madrid. And the rest of the clubs, it's never like obviously they've had their moments where Valencia are really good, Sevilla are really good, but
yeah,
now I just feel like those clubs aren't as competitive as they used to be, and I think just in general it's not as competitive as it used to be.
Well,
I agree.
how it's quite a weird way to explain it, but I normally go on. This is my mindset that I've had basically my whole life playing FIFA since about FIFA '07. But basically, basically, I would say that the competitive leagues are the ones that you can go onto in FIFA and confidently say that you would randomize a team and you'd be happy to play with them against another person. Like, I mean, you go into the English league and you see their ratings on English teams. I mean, even even some of the bad teams have world class players in them. Like, I mean, we're speaking about
Yeah.
Everton now. This team is slowly building up and it's looking good. I mean, Everton is a
There's
very
confidently two
yeah,
teams in the Premier League that are like that at
Maybe even
least yeah
exactly.
two. I mean
Where I mean,
yeah
if you went to Bundesliga, I mean, if you're playing a Bundesliga game, you're probably only going to choose Bayern or Borussia
yeah, but there's
Dortmund.
Bayern even they on the way up. They've got Bayern, Dortmund, Leipzig,
Well, I would say that the
Mönchengladbach.
Bundesliga is
Yeah,
probably the league closest behind Premier League. I don't know.
I agree. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
think
agree.
so as well. And
yeah,
I think Italy's growing. I
Yeah,
think
Italy's also coming.
overtaking Spain because Italy
yeah.
like had that poor stage. They almost died in that sense of
Mm.
the
And
word.
even
Like they
honestly, even the Farmers League. I mean, we saw obviously Leon and PSG both there. That league is not like I mean you see a lot of top players. It's a
talent
breeding
coming out
ground
of
for
there.
top players coming out
Yeah,
of there.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
like I mean you got Leon, PSG, Lille,
Say
uh, yeah Marseille. They're still big. Like those are four big clubs that for me the La Liga is in big trouble, mate. It's
yeah.
in big trouble. They're so fixated. I mean, apart from the big clubs, that league is so fixated on being so Spanish. It is ridiculous, mate. Like
Mm.
they are so. I mean, even the Premier League now has made this whole new. They've had this whole new ruling where it's where you have to have a certain amount of homegrown players and stuff. And but the La Liga is like. I mean, if you go to the sides that are from 15. I mean, from well, the 10th to the bottom of the table, you won't find players that are not Spanish in the squad. Like
Yeah.
it's like 90% of the squad is, and it's just yeah. I think they're in big trouble. That those teams are old, mate. That apart from I don't know Ansu Fati, Rodrigo, Vinicius. Who else is there? Musa. I mean Usman Dembele maybe. But apart from that, who starts in those sides that is not that is younger than 26?
Yeah.
and flippin' Barca wanting to let Koeman wanting to let Ricky Puig go, whatever that however you say
Oh
his name. Like that because that quality like he was
yeah
arguably Barca's like best midfielder last season. Like he came in
yeah
and he just looked like he was in place. Like that is like as a Barcelona fan, that's like the one player you're like so excited for given your midfield history, like your Xavis, your Iniestas and all that stuff. And now this guy's like, yeah, he's not part of my squad. He's young and he must go on loan and stuff. And I'm just thinking like okay, maybe you want to send him on loan, but we all know, like even with Ceballos, he's young. Madrid center mid, they go on loan, and chances are you guys are going to end up signing him. Like
Mm.
they go on
yeah
loan and they don't come back. So I just don't see his thought process of wanting. Like if you get a player on loan from Barca, like, I don't think we've ever seen a player go on loan from Barca and go back. If you get me, like
yeah
they always integrate their youth
yeah
themselves, kind of thing.
Mm.
So I
yeah.
just don't know what his plan is to send this guy out on loan.
Yeah, no, I think I agree with you. I think it's a very interesting time in La Liga.
Okay, lads, that was a very good chat there. I think that we got a lot covered there, and that was good to know. It's going to be interesting to see where the La Liga goes from here, considering what a prestigious league it is considered to be. So moving on, I'm not sure if this will make it onto YouTube, so we can give it a go. Hopefully it doesn't get blocked, but I just want to quickly speak 5 minutes, 6 minutes on these goals of the week. I've put James's goal against West Brom and Pereira's free kick against Everton in the same game.
Yeah, yeah.
Johns, which one of the two for you, eh? I'm saying the free kick.
Ah, I think in terms of quality, and like I think Mateus Pereira's was probably technically a better goal, but for me that the whole thing around James at Everton and bring him to the league and how he needs to step up and the love story with him and Ancelotti, how he's followed him for through three different leagues. Um, I think it's
And it was
tough,
still
but
a
I
good
would.
goal.
Yeah, no, it was
It wasn't like
quality.
it was
I'm
a
saying,
scrappy goal. It
yeah,
was a
yeah,
quality
no, no,
goal.
no. I'm saying in terms of pure quality and which one you'd score more often. I'd probably say that. I mean, I don't know actually. Just free kicks are scored often nowadays. I think Pereira's was probably for me. It was probably a better goal, but I think James's goal was more like, you know, a bigger goal. If that
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah.
Like it's
I get what you're saying, because even when on the group, when we were thinking about nominations for goal of the week, um, Pereira's free kick completely went over all our heads. We didn't even think about it
There were
until,
too many goals.
yeah, there was just way too many
All of them.
goals.
I remember all of them.
I
yeah.
just I just think James's goal was nice for him. It was that breakthrough goal in the Prem, and it was clean. It was expected from him to score such a clean goal. If you watch it back, you can see it was all planned. He was aiming for his bottom
Yeah.
right corner. He was aiming to thread it through his two central defenders, I think, that were on him, and yeah, he just got it perfect. And typical
Yeah.
James. That's why they
But
signed him. That's why they
having
want
said that,
him.
having said that, I'm just thinking now if anyone in the top four, I mean top six clubs scored that goal that Mateus Pereira scored, it wouldn't even be a question. So
De Bruyne bagged that one.
yeah, or if I don't know
No,
if
I'm saying
Tottenham
Pereira.
scored
I'm
that
saying
goal.
Pereira. That free kick was hot, guys. Yo,
I see.
especially that coming from the likes of a West Brom player, like not to put them down or anything. First game in the Prem, they haven't
That
been
is
for a while.
yeah.
That it's an exciting time. I mean, to have West Brom slotting free kicks like this in the Premier League, definitely the most versatile league by far. I want to
And
see
also, when you know they've got that quality, like you can't afford to give them a free kick there now because they're
exactly,
gonna look for they're gonna try to take their scrappy 1-0 wins if they can.
exactly.
So they're gonna thrive off set pieces. So knowing that they've got that quality to slot a free kick, it makes it a lot more
Yeah.
interesting as to how you defend them. Because
Conceding that type of
if
free
you're
kick
gonna
against West Brom when they were last in the Premier League was like a meh thing. Like it was okay, cool. They got a free kick in front of the box. Take the set
Yeah,
piece.
because
Let's
you have
move
you have
on.
Brand taking it.
Now
You have Brand Brand.
you cannot move on from that. It's dangerous times. Dangerous times. Everyone wants to play. Everyone wants to play soccer these days.
Yeah,
yeah,
and Mateus Perez, I mean, he's ridiculous, mate. Did he win Player of the Season, Michael? In the
I don't think so. I'm trying to think now
he
who
was
it actually
definitely up
was,
there because
but I
he
don't
was.
think he won it. I don't know who it was,
Let me
to be
have a look.
honest.
But he
Um,
was definitely up there.
but yeah, that West Brom team for me still, I don't think they'll stay up, but they,
No,
they
they
are
won't.
gonna they
Mm.
are gonna cause trouble in getting results against big teams, especially at the Hawthorns. I think.
Ollie Watkins won it.
Only what?
For me, it's a bit more than a coincidence that they have a similar kit to Norwich. I think they're gonna pest teams like Norwich did at the last season. It's too much of a coincidence. They're gonna be pesting those big teams. I don't know. Maybe Pereira,
Yo,
Pookie the second. Maybe we put him in our fantasy teams. I don't know. We could see. But yeah,
Pookie the second.
speaking on fantasy teams, let's quickly cut over there. I've got the log up in front of me here. In first place, we've got Michelle Matthew, eh?
Smart, damn it.
Michael's
Yes,
girlfriend taking first
Michael.
place this week with 125 points.
Ridiculous week, guys. Ridiculous week.
Oliver Newell in second, Butle
125
Latuli
points.
third, John T fourth, Michael fifth. Yeah. So Chris was in Kiff was in first place last week, and now he's dropped down to sixth, tar sixth.
Yeah, and I think he played his wild card. So,
Hey,
Kif,
he
if
played
you're
his free
watching this
hits.
one, or
He
your
played his
free
free
hits,
hits.
Oh
Terrible
no,
scenes.
terrible
ooh.
scenes.
Terrible.
So yeah, just
But
scrolling through here. Jamie
when Harry
Beta.
met when Harry met Ali, is Michael, you you've done bits there, mate. Invite me to the wedding, mate.
Of course.
So yeah,
She
just
backed. She backed his first place. Eh?
yeah, we've
Yeah,
got
she backed his
looking
his
at her
first
team
player,
here, and I mean
I got it
triple
on Soul
captain,
actually. Huh?
dude. Come, did she triple captain as
I
well?
got it. No,
No,
she just captained. She
Yo.
didn't flip and got. So
but
I
she
got
had
onto the right team, and from there she just
yeah.
Sonny and Kane, you know,
Oh my
the
word.
Sonny and Kane masterclass.
Yeah, I definitely think I've also seen a lot of people complaining about their fantasies over the past few days, saying that they've been getting messed around. Yeah, so yeah,
It's a
It is
devilish
so
app.
tough, eh?
It's a devilish app.
It is so tough out there.
Michael, even it was a big week for you that side, you bloody Spurs fans. And your dad even
Yeah, my dad
plugged
pulled 100 point as well because he has
111 points.
Kane captain, I think, doesn't he?
Kane captain, he had Ings, De Bruyne, Justin Van Dijk, Van Arnold, Allison.
Yo, this has been a
Triple,
terrible,
triple, triple Liverpool
a terrible
defense.
fantasy for me. I'm very down there at the bottom. I think I could like even be bottom
Yeah,
5.
De Bruyne pulled
Yeah, man.
absolutely.
We got 73 O's on this league. So if you're watching this and you're not on the league, you better join. I don't know if we've got it set to from game week 1. Have we?
Yeah, I think it is, which is unfortunate.
Okay. Yeah. So that you can
Yeah.
join, and your points will be your points will no. You is it set
Oh
from
no,
game
no,
week 1?
it's safe from game week 1, so I think your points will.
So your points will be fine. Yeah.
Yeah, your
So
points will be fine.
if you're watching this and you haven't joined, you can still join, and your points will be the same as what you've got so far. It'll just update. And we're hoping that we're gonna get something.
Let's try see if set a goal for 100 members, by the end of the season.
Yeah.
I rate that's doable.
Let's say,
30 more
let's say if
people.
we get to 100 members, we'll sort out something a nice prize.
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
a top prize.
I'll back
Top
that. 100 members on the fantasy, and we'll organize a prize from London Confidential. It will be a versatile prize, so it will be
Yeah.
applicable for all fans. So make sure you're joining. Okay, guys. On that note, anything else that we have to say about this past week, eh?
Nah, I think it was good. I think it's exciting. What do we have this week? This week.
Big one for you, eh,
Last
Johns?
Sunday.
Let me check Chelsea's fixture.
Yeah.
I haven't even got that far.
Can I tell you what's a very interesting fixture? First fixture of the whole weekend. United play Brighton away. And
Mm.
that Brighton side looked so sharp against
My
Newcastle.
prediction there is a result you all expect. Considering, eh?
Yeah.
Yo, this.
God for any upsets. Haven't
even
gone
that-
for the
even-
upsets.
Even the
For
Palace.
Brighton to win.
Yeah. No upset, just Brighton to win.
I'm
Brighton
I'm
to
looking
win.
at these fixtures, and I'm like, flip. There's some good fixtures this weekend, but it's the Premier League. It's the Premier League. This is what we can expect from the Premier League. Yo.
Bro, Palace,
Because
Everton.
Palace have looked okay.
Yeah.
Looked pretty decent, and Everton have mostly been balling.
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't know.
Leicester.
Yeah. Okay.
Damn.
So on that note, Oz, shall we leave it there? Hey. Thank you so much
Yeah, I reckon.
for stopping by, everyone. Yeah, it was a very interesting episode. Let us know. Obviously, this is a recorded one. Drop down in the comments your thoughts on Bale, or maybe tune in next week. We can even touch on Bale again, because I know that a lot of people are agreeing with us on this topic, and maybe with the conversation of Hazard being thrown into it, of him falling into that same trap, we can have an even bigger one. So, thanks for stopping by, and check you next week. Do you guys want to say a quick bye?
Yeah, I think
Cheers,
if Oz wanna have a feature on the channel, if they wanna come in, they must just also drop in the comments. Let us know like if they wanna come on and for what week and stuff, and then we'll see if we can integrate some guys as like guests
Definitely.
on the channel.
Definitely.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Sweet.
Thanks for stopping by, guys.
Cheers.
Thanks.